Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel as you see in the thumbnail. This is part 1 of What If Naruto was in One Piece and got a harem. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. Chapter 1, Dawn of a New Age. Saibuur de Uzumaki Naruto sat by himself on the coast of the elemental nations, just staring out over the ocean. It had been around 100 years since the close of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, and Uzumaki Naruto was bored. Damn it, nothing has happened around here in like 50 years. Appearing 18 years old, Naruto was dressed in his red sage jacket. Instead of his orange jumpsuit beneath, he had changed his clothing so as to allow himself to vanish into the background more easily. He now wore a dark red short-sleeved shirt tied on his body with white pants with white shinobi sandals. Unable to totally part with the color that had defined him for years, Naruto had an orange sash around his waist. Naruto no longer wore the headband signifying his allegiance to Konohagakure, his home village, for his own reasons. Instead of having the leaf symbol on his forehead protector, he had one custom made to show the kanji of Mt. Mayaboku, the home of the toads and where he became a sage. Due to the combination of the naturally enhanced life force of the Uzumaki clan and the fact that Naruto had been sealed with perhaps the strongest entity in the known ninja world, the Kyuubi no Yoko, his already potent life force extended his own lifespan due to the boost from the fox. Now, after countless years of being the protector of the elemental nations, he found himself utterly dissatisfied with his current trend of action, or namely the lack thereof. He didn't even have anyone to spend time with. All of his friends and allies from his heyday were dead and gone. There were no challenges anymore. Madara was gone, Akatsuki had crumbled, the Moon's Eye plan had been utterly stopped. Even the system of shinobi that had ruled the lands for years before Naruto's birth was beginning to fall out of practice. There was just nothing to do anymore. He never became Hokage, he simply settled in as a traveling protector of the lands. It wouldn't have worked out anyway. I mean, he was basically damn immortal with his lifespan, and as an immortal being Hokage, that situation would have been troublesome, so he vanished from the limelight. Having someone of such notoriety and strength aligned to one village for however long Naruto's life would last for would have made things tense, especially seeing as how his name was legend among every hidden village. Who knew being damn near immortal was so boring? I guess I can see why Madara team took to trying to manipulate his way into ruling the world. There isn't anything else to do, and that's an option that's always on the table. Naruto yawned as the waves crashed into the shoreline. He didn't have any responsibilities, no challenges, nothing really. He could go where he wanted, do what he liked, and the thing about it was that if anyone in the elemental nations did know about him, there wasn't anyone powerful enough to do anything to him. At this point it was like he was just existing without any real purpose. Naruto looked over to the side and saw a harbor full of ships. I've never even been off of this continent. I have no clue what else there is on this planet. Who knows? I'll probably find something else to do for the next 100 years. Nodding to himself, Naruto stood up and began making his way towards the nearest coastal town. XXX. Naruto found a merchant's ship that looked undermanned. Walking up to what looked to be the quartermaster by the way he was giving out commands and requests, Naruto tapped the man on the shoulder. "Yes lad, what can I do for you?" Naruto held back a smirk at the lad remark. "Lad? Yeah right, I'm older than you." Naruto grinned. "Well, you guys looked kind of swamped and I'm bored." The quartermaster gave Naruto a grateful smile. "Thanks lad, but we haven't much to pay you with if you could help us." Naruto looked around. "Well, if I could get passage on your ship that would be great. I'd help any way I could the entire voyage." A strange look came on the man's face. "Do you happen to know where we're heading lad?" Naruto shook his head, grin still in place. "Nope." The quartermaster's sweat dropped. "We plan on leaving the elemental nations altogether. You'll be in unfamiliar lands boy." Naruto's grin grew ever bigger. "Even better. I'm definitely going now. It's getting very boring around here for a guy like me." Who knows? Maybe I'll find something to do out there. He closed his eyes and smiled faintly. Yeah, this place hasn't needed me in a while. I think it's time for me to disappear. He opened his eyes and smiled. So where are you going anyway since you aren't kicking me off? The man smirked at Naruto. And who said you're getting on, lad? Life on a ship is hard work. If you're going to be on this ship you're going to have to work for your keep. He poked Naruto in the chest. What can you contribute to our crew? Naruto returned his smirk and moved past him. Well, we'll see. You can either accept the extra help from someone that would work for simple passage on an understaffed ship, or you can not, and maybe end up making things harder on yourself. A loud laugh came from the side where Naruto saw a man coming towards him and the quartermaster. The man was middle-aged with flecks of gray coming into his brown beard. From the way the quartermaster acted upon seeing him, Naruto assumed that this man was the captain. Walking up to Naruto he thumped him hard on the shoulder. Well now, you're a strapping young lad. Naruto cursed in his head at yet again being called lad when he was sure as hell older than everyone else on the ship and then some. Is this boy trying to gain passage on our ship? The quartermaster straightened up. Yes sir. It seems he was pretty much the only person that we wound up commissioning to return with us to the East Blue. The captain gave a sigh. This final discovered continent sure has some introverted people inhabiting it. You must be pretty hard up for some action around here, kid. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Well, you could say that. So what do you say? Am I in? Can I go with you guys or what? The captain stroked his beard for a moment before slapping Naruto hard on the back. I like your pluck, kid. You're in, but you're going to have to pull your weight around here. Now that that's settled, Quartermaster Gibbs, let's be off. The quartermaster, now identified as Gibbs, sweat dropped. Captain, we're understaffed. Many of the men we came here with have disembarked in order to try and live here. No one is attempting to come aboard with us except for this boy, and that means we can't take to the seas. Naruto blinked. So you're saying that the only thing keeping you all here is the fact that you just don't have enough guys to run the whole ship? Gibbs and the captain blinked. Naruto grinned and made a cross sign with his index and middle fingers on both hands. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu, ... In a puff of smoke there were now 30 Narutos where there once was one. Will this be good enough for you to ship out of here with? Naruto said with a satisfied look on his face. Akuma no Mi, devil fruit, was the collective cry that came up from every man on the ship who had witnessed the feat of self-replication. Naruto looked around in a confused fashion. Akuma no what? The captain pointed at all of the Naruto copies. Such a power. The only thing like it is the power of an Akuma no Mi. Which one did you take, boy? Naruto didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but decided to just go with the flow. I don't know. I've had this power since I was 12 really. He wasn't really lying. Gibbs ran his hand through his hair. Oh well, that isn't important right now. What is important is that we have enough staff to head out of here. The captain stopped focusing on Naruto's Kage Bunshin and turned his attention to the rest of the crew. All right gentlemen, prepare for departure. He turned to Naruto. What is your name, my boy? Naruto grinned and pointed his thumb at himself. Me? I'm Uzumaki Naruto, at your service. XXX. 2 months later. After about a week of seasickness, which was especially miserable on the first day when Naruto's clones all got seasick and puked randomly all over the place before dispelling, Naruto started getting his bearings around the ship. After watching the others in order to learn what needed to be done, he began to take some of the jobs for himself. Once again utilizing Kage Bunshin, he managed to get experience in many workstations on the ship. His favorite, however, was manning the crow's nest, as it was just a fantastic excuse for a lazy bastard to sleep. Shikamaru would have loved it. However, one day when he found himself actually paying attention to his job of keeping lookout, he saw something. Hey captain! What's with that ship out there with the crap on its sails? Naruto pointed out at a ship that was coming up on them rather quickly. The captain looked through a scope and began to sweat. Pirates. The ship broke into an uproar as men scrambled about. Naruto quirked his eyebrow. He wasn't a stranger to pirates. When he was a ninja, pirates roamed the coasts of the elemental nations all the time, but they were so weak it was pathetic for the most part. Naruto climbed down from the crow's nest and got the attention of the ship captain, who was barking out frantic orders. "Yo, captain! Let me go over and handle them, I'm starting to get bored anyway." The captain looked at Naruto with a WTF face before his features lit up. "Of course. You're a user of the fruit, you're basically a one-man army. Yes, go and take care of them and you'll have my eternal gratitude." Naruto shrugged as he headed towards the edge of the boat to jump over the railing. "I'm on it." "Wait. Those that eat the Akuma no Mi can't swim. You'll drown, Uzumaki." Naruto turned to the rest of the crew and smirked. "It's not that easy to get rid of me, you know." Naruto jumped over the edge amid the gasps of the others as they crowded around to potentially jump in and save him. They got quite a shock, however, when they saw Naruto standing on the surface of the water, running at a speed none of them could match towards the pirate ship. Turning and waving over his shoulder, he grinned. "I'll be back in a flash, okay? XXX. That idiot Krieg. Taking us all into the Grand Line like that." A bald man with dark eyes stated as he looked out at the merchant ship they were quickly gaining on. "Well, now that he and all of those other idiots are toast, we can do what we want now." A pirate ran up to him. "Captain, we'll be on them within 5 minutes at this rate." He smirked and rubbed his hands together. "Good. Tell the men to get ready to board. We'll be getting quite a haul tonight." "Yeah, you guys need it too, your rations are total shit. Where's the ramen?" The captain turned to come face to face with a blonde teen sitting on the banister eating a can of their food. He cringed and threw it overboard. "Yuck, this is terrible. How could you feed this to people? I would eat my own leg before I eat that crap again." The captain got a tick mark on his head. "Who the fuck are you?" The blonde grinned widely and stood up before settling into a ridiculous pose. "I am the man that makes the men of the nations of the elements quiver in fear and their women in lust. I am the immortal shinobi, the eternal Toad Sennin, and your personal hero, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto finished, hopping on one leg and gesturing grandly like his old master. For some reason there were kabuki instruments going in the background. Apparently Naruto had created some cage bunshin before getting on to play them. Naruto stood up straight and sighed in contentment. "I see why that old pervert did that now. That was awesome. Hey, you guys aren't planning on attacking that ship over there, are you? Because then we'd have a little problem if you were." By now Naruto's presence had been registered by the remaining pirates on the boat, who had begun to crowd around him with their weapons drawn. The captain scoffed and gestured to his men. "Who do you think you are, punk? We're from Don Krieg's pirate armada. We'll tear you apart." Cheers went up from the pirates as Naruto stood with a dull look on his face. Naruto cupped his hands to his eyes and looked around. "Now I'm not the smartest guy in the world and I'm pretty new at all of this nautical stuff, but isn't armada a term that basically means a fuckload of ships? And here I only see one. Yeah, this is a real armada, all right." Naruto then got a tick mark on his head. "And what do you mean, who do I think I am? I just fucking told you, shithead. Do you have the short-term memory of a goldfish now too?" The captain growled. "Damn it, we're wasting time with this guy. Kill him already so we can go get our loot." The pirates rushed Naruto with sabers and bare hands, getting aside from Naruto. 20 men ended up getting knocked senseless where they stood, or being thrown overboard in no time flat at the hands of some random blonde kid that came out of nowhere. Naruto sighed as only the captain was left. "That's it? That's the best you idiots have got? I shouldn't even have woken up for that. That was pathetic. If this is the best the world has to offer, then I'm not impressed." The captain brandished his sword and rushed Naruto, screaming at the top of his lungs. Naruto lifted his leg out to the side and kicked his in the chest. The pirate was as if he ran directly into a metal pole rooted into a brick wall and dropped to the ground accordingly. Naruto grumbled to himself as he made a mass of cage bunchin and ordered them to go get rope. I should have stayed home for this. XXX. The captain of the merchant ship had a gobsmacked look on his face when Naruto came running back onto his ship 10 minutes after he left, saying he would handle the pirates. Boy, have you ever thought of joining the Marines? Naruto took on a thoughtful look. From the sound of that it seems like some kind of government military right. Upon seeing the captain nod he frowned. No thanks, been there done that. I don't fight for anyone other than myself and the people I care for. I'm not becoming someone else's tool. He thumbed over his shoulder at the pirate ship. What should I do with them? I didn't kill them, and they don't have a thing worth taking. The quartermaster came up. Well, you don't look like you have any money at all. If I were you, I would see if I could take them to Orange Town and see if I could get a marine patrol to take them. Maybe you could get a reward. Naruto scratched his head. Why not? All right, then that's what I'll do. Naruto had them mark it on a map they provided him from the captain's quarters. Thanks for having me, you guys. It was very cool of you to take me on your ship. The captain grinned and patted him hard on the back again. It was no problem, Uzumaki. You saved us from a fight with pirates after all. I hope we'll see you again soon out there somewhere. Naruto regained his footing and nodded. Yeah, you guys too. Stay safe out there and you'll be hearing something about me soon enough, I'm certain of it. With that, Naruto jumped from the merchant ship to return to the commandeered pirate ship to begin his own journey on the ocean. XXX. 1 week later. Naruto pulled into port in Orange Town with the pirates he had captured still tied up on the ship. After docking with the help of Cage Bunchin, he decided to look for someone that could help him with his pirate issue. Walking into the town, he felt something off. It's like no one is even here. A ghost town? But the merchants were so sure that this place could help. Why is this place deserted? He hadn't seen a soul. No people out and about, no one working their shops or anything. The only living creature that Naruto saw in the entire village was a dog standing in front of a pet shop. Naruto spent at least 15 minutes staring the dog down as it simply sat there unmoving. As he pondered this, a crack of gunfire rang out in the slight distance. He then caught sight and sound of someone falling from the sky after being dropped by a huge bird. As he watched the person drop, Naruto turned away and headed back to his ship. Oh well, not my problem. A few minutes later, Naruto found himself back at the ship he had docked as he noticed another, larger, more ornate ship looking somewhat like a carousel was near his ship. Shaking his head at the weirdness of the people that inhabited the rest of the world, he checked on his prisoners, smirking as the restrained men attempted to curse him out. Getting off of his boat, he heard someone call out to him, "Hey." Naruto turned towards the voice to find a well-figured young man around his age with short light green hair and 3 gold earrings in his left earlobe. He wore a plain white shirt with 3 buttons at the collar with black trousers, black shoes, a black bandana around his arm, and a green wide sash around his waist. Naruto then took notice of the 3 swords he had on his right hip. Strange, but potentially dangerous. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the man. Yes? Can I help you? Hopefully whatever this guy wanted would actually help him find somebody in this town. The newcomer gave Naruto a lazy look, seemingly sizing up Naruto the way Naruto had just done to him. Have you seen a guy with a red vest, blue shorts, and a straw hat on his head? He probably would have had a stupid look on his face. I think he might be in the grasp of a bird or something. Naruto scratched his head. I don't know about the description, but I did see a guy get dropped by a bird in the middle of town not too long ago, maybe an hour I'd guess. He pointed towards the middle of the town. That should be your best bet. The man sighed and started moving towards the indicated direction. All right, thanks I guess. Naruto waved the swordsman off and returned to business as usual. Sitting on the dock, looking at a map of the nearest places to go in order to maybe turn the fools he had captured in and restock, seeing as how the burg he was currently in didn't have anyone besides some guy with green hair in it. After a while Naruto began to wonder if leaving the elemental nations was such a good idea. Man, this whole traveling the world thing is going to be harder than I thought. Sighing to himself, he made to return to his ship when the noise of cannon fire rang out. Looking around to see what was up, Naruto ended up witnessing his ship explode into little splinters. Naruto stood with a look of disbelief on his face as he watched the wreckage in port. His stunned staring was broken by 3 pirates that had walked up on Naruto from behind. It looks like the captain fired off one of his special cannonballs. This poor schlub's ship is done for. Naruto began leaking off massive amounts of killing intent. The captain? Who's captain? Who's the dead asshole that did that to my ship? The pirates backed off at the anger coming from the strange teen, Captain Buggy. He runs this town, didn't you know? Naruto shook his head angrily with his back still turned. The pirates started getting a little bolder now. You should be ecstatic actually, the captain doesn't use his special buggy balls for no reason. You must have made him angry. They all began to walk towards the seemingly non-responsive boy. Naruto finally spoke, I never met the guy, but he's going to wish he didn't just turn my ship into floating lumber by the time I'm done. And I'll start with you 3. Naruto then proceeded to beat the living daylights out of the 3 pirates until his temper was adequately sated. Naruto spared the unconscious pirates a last glance before he headed into town again, this time finding an intriguing sight for him. Naruto saw a strange man with white hair shaped like teddy bear ears and a woolly-looking half-top shirt riding a gigantic lion 5 times the size of the man riding it. He then saw a pair of arms stretch out, twisting in a spiral, grabbing the lion and lifting it before slamming it on its head. Gomu Gomu no Tsuke, Gum Gum Hammer. Naruto's eyes lit up at the sight of that. Oh Kami. Finally, someone around here that can fight. The attacker had kneeled down on one knee by the lion. He had short black hair, a scar under his left eye, a red vest, sandals, and blue shorts. Naruto noticed the straw hat by his side and realized this was the person that the green-haired guy had been looking for. What was that guy worried about? This kid is awesome. The teddy bear-haired man burst into frantic tears. Richie. He pointed at the kneeling boy. What are you? He stood up and dusted himself off. A long time ago I ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, gum gum fruit. The strange white-haired man looked slightly fearful. Gomu Gomu no Mi. Could it be that you have gained this ability from eating an Akuma no Mi just like Captain Buggy? He started sweating. Okay, I'll give you everything that you want. And I'll apologize. Sorry. The rubbery boy had a dark shade over his eyes. I don't need an apology because it won't bring back Shushu's treasure. And you? He then stared up at the lion tamer with angry eyes. I came to get payback from you. He stretched his arm out and grabbed him by the collar before reeling him in, ignoring his cries for mercy. Have a taste of your own medicine. He then cracked the man in the face ridiculously hard, sending him to the ground in an unconscious heap. Naruto's eyes were now sparkling at the sight of the strange boy effortlessly destroying the 2 enemies. That was awesome. I haven't seen anyone stretch like that since I was a kid, and the guy that could was an ass clown. This kid is the real deal. Naruto ran up to the boy who had picked something up from the lion. Yo. That was great. By far the most entertaining thing I've seen all day. The boy blinked before giving Naruto a stupid grin that looked somewhat familiar to him. Thanks. Who are you again? Naruto chuckled. Me? You can go ahead and call me Uzumaki Naruto. Now who are you? The boy thumbed himself in the chest. I'm Monkey D. Luffy. And I'm going to be king of the pirates. Naruto's sweat dropped. Now what about how this guy just stated that is giving me deja vu? Naruto shook it off as another question arose. Wait. Pirates have a king? Never mind that. Anyway, that fight was awesome. I was flipping out when you slammed that lion on the ground like a dead fish. Very impressive. Luffy wiped his nose bashfully. Oh, that was nothing. He gripped his own bicep with a grin still situated on his face before he noticed what he had in his hand. I'll be right back. Luffy then started to walk off. Naruto, curious about the young fighter, followed him until they came to a ruined building with a small white dog sitting out front that reminded Naruto somewhat of his old friend Kiba's dog, Akamaru. Naruto quickly shook that from his thoughts. No. Don't think about that. They all had happy, peaceful lives after you left Konoha. You kept them all safe, they died happy, that was all you could do for them. Naruto was snapped from his thoughts by a girl Luffy's age with orange hair that went down to her neck. She had on a white and blue striped shirt, an orange short skirt, and orange high-heeled sandals. Naruto smirked as he noticed that this girl looked good, and how the hell did this girl know the rubber kid until she spoke. Oh ho, Mr. Pirate, so you're still alive? I thought you would have been finished off by that lion. An old man next to her in a Hem battle gear spoke up. Hey. What are you saying? She ignored him and tried to lash out at Luffy before being held back by the old man. Before you get your pirate pals over here to raid the village, why don't you just go to hell? Naruto raised an eyebrow out of curiosity at her outburst, while Luffy's face didn't even register that he had even heard anything until he walked up to her while she was still being held back. You think you can hurt me? He then childishly stuck his tongue out at her and walked past her. This pissed the girl off to no end as she struggled to free herself and assault Luffy. Okay, you wanna fight me, you stupid pirate? She turned to Naruto, who was snickering with an amused grin on his face. And what the hell are you gawking at? Take your rubber pirate buddy and get out of this place. Naruto frowned. That's not very nice at all. I don't know anything about that guy at all other than the fact that he likes straw hats and he can body slam a lion 4 times his size. And I'm not a pirate, I'm just some guy that showed up in town at the wrong time. He then took on a thoughtful look. Actually, I think it was the right time, because I was getting bored as all hell just sailing. Maybe this was a blessing of some sort. Naruto then stopped paying attention to her as he found himself lost in his own thoughts. She didn't like that at all. Stop ignoring me, you blonde idiot. The sound of something being set down got everyone's attention as they all looked at Luffy. Luffy sat down next to the dog after placing a box of food in front of it with a big grin. That's the only one I could bring back. The rest was eaten up, if you can believe me. The girl calmed down to the point where the old man let her go as they all watched Luffy interact with the dog. Naruto smiled to himself. That's one selfless guy. He started, getting the girl's attention. I saw him fight that lion. I just figured it pissed him off or something. I never bothered to ask why because it just looked so cool. But fighting for this little dog, and now he's comforting him after he lost his building. I really like this kid now. He noticed the girl looking at him, probably mirroring some of her own thoughts, and gave her a cheesy grin. I am Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you. She looked a little taken back at his chipper attitude. I'm Nami. Naruto nodded as they watched the dog bark and walk away. Luffy stood up and waved. Yeah. You be strong too. That brought some good-natured laughs from everyone around. After the dog got out of sight, Nami sighed and walked up to Luffy with a smile. Sorry for screaming at you. Luffy looked at her and grinned. It's okay, you lost someone important to you because of pirates. You've been through a lot, haven't you? You don't need to say anything. The old man near them finally exploded. I can't stand it anymore. It's just so miserable. Shushu and you youngsters are fighting like this, but why is it that I, being the village chief, can only watch our village be trampled? Naruto's sweat dropped and pointed lamely. Maybe because you're just an old man with a flimsy spear and shitty armor. Kami, old man, that crap doesn't look like it can stop wooden stake, let alone a sword or a bullet. Nami saw how riled up the old man was getting. Wait, chief, calm down. The old chief looked too inspired to stop. To a real man there are just some fights that cannot be avoided. Isn't that right, kid? Luffy grinned. That's right, mister. Nami yelled at Luffy, don't encourage him. The chief then launched into a spiel on how his last village was destroyed and how 40 years ago he and the villagers built the village that they were currently standing in. Upon finishing, proclaiming that he was going to stand up and fight, a cannonball destroyed the chief's house and sent them all to the ground. Naruto hopped up to his feet and pointed at the wreckage. That's the same damn thing that just happened to my ship. Who the fuck shot that shit off? Luffy jumped up next to Naruto. Zoro was sleeping in there. The chief looked at his former house in anger. Is he dead? The kid with the waistband. Luffy yelled into the smoke and rubble, hey Zoro, are you still alive? Ugh. That was some bad way to wake me up. A green-haired man sat up holding his head. Naruto identified him as the same guy who had been at the harbor with him earlier. The chief was growling now, it feels as if my chest is being scraped out. I'll not let these pirates trample all over us again. I am the chief and I won't let the village be treated this way. He finished, holding his spear in the air. As he tried to storm off, Nami held him in place, telling him it was reckless. I know it's reckless. That forced her to let go of him and he took the opportunity to jet off to confront the pirates. Just you wait, Buggy the clown. Zoro laughed from where he was on the ground. For some reason this is starting to feel more fun. Luffy laughed to himself, you know? I agree. Nami just looked between them and yelled at them, how can you still laugh? Luffy simply gave her his ever-present grin, don't worry, I like that old man. I'm not going to let him die. Nami still didn't understand, how can you still laugh in this situation? Where the hell is your confidence coming from? Luffy didn't really answer, our destination is the Grand Line. Now we're going to steal that map again. He extended a hand to Nami, will you join us? You need the map too, don't you? And the treasure. I'm not going to become a pirate. Nami simply stated while slapping Luffy's hand away, rather than partners, let's just say we're cooperating. Helping each other to achieve our goals. Luffy laughed and nodded before turning to Naruto, and what about you, new guy? Are you in too? Naruto's lips quirked as he placed his hands behind his head and grinned, well, since I owe that Buggy the clown or whatever his name is for trashing my ride and sinking my bounties to the bottom of the sea, I'm in. Zoro pulled the bandana off of his arm and wrapped it on his head, gaining Nami's attention, you're going to? What about your injury? Zoro grinned as he tightened it on his head, more important than the injury done to my body is the injury done to my name that I suffered because all I did in my last fight was get hurt. So should we go? The three men along with a somewhat reluctant Nami began walking in the direction the chief went off in to confront the pirate Buggy. XXX. Upon arriving they found the chief being held off of the ground by his throat with a disembodied hand. Naruto once again raised an eyebrow at the weirdness, but hell if he hadn't seen weirder before. Luffy sprang into action and freed the chief by prying the hand off of his neck, getting the attention of Buggy, Straw Hat. So you come without a single trace of fear by your own will. You morons, you're also dead. He then noticed Naruto, who the hell are you? Naruto looked at Buggy. He had a red and white striped short-sleeved shirt, white gloves, a sash around his waist, and a pair of loose aqua-colored pants that reached his calves and showed his striped socks and pointy shoes. He had a fur-lined captain's coat and an orange captain hat on his head. On his face there was clown makeup and a big red clown nose. Naruto glared at the clown, your stupid cannonball destroyed my ship, you bastard. You'd better have insurance. Ass-whooping insurance. Because you're about to pay a deductible. Buggy seethed at the group of kids that were facing him down, you're all dead. Naruto rolled his eyes, far stronger people than you have tried before. Nami backed off, listen, I don't care if you guys fight or not. I'm just here for the map and the treasure. Zoro sighed, yeah I know. The chief stood up from the ground, what did all of you come back for? You four just stay out of this. This is my fight. I'm the one who must protect this village. Don't interfere. Luffy then proceeded to smash him in the back of the head with the palm of his hand, rendering him unconscious. Naruto sighed in relief, "Thanks for that, rubber boy. I'm all for fighting your own battles and all, but that was getting overbearing. He was starting to remind me of somebody, and not a good somebody. Nami wasn't as understanding. You idiot. What the hell did you do that to the chief for?" Luffy grinned, because he would just get in the way. Naruto returned his grin with one of his own. He knew there was a reason he liked this kid. Zoro agreed with his captain, "That was smart thinking. If you had left him alone, without a doubt he would have recklessly charged. It's safer for him to be unconscious." Nami yelled at the rubber boy, "Stop doing unnecessary things." Luffy simply pivoted on his foot to face Buggy, "Hey you. You huge, red, ugly, big nose." The entire pirate crew of Buggy went eerily silent until their captain screamed, "Fire the Buggy special cannonball. Fire." Naruto lowered himself to prepare to rush their position. "Oh like hell, I'm letting you shoot another of those damned things off." The others were preparing to move out of the way except Luffy. Nami and Zoro tried to pull him from his spot. "Oi! Are you trying to get yourself killed, you idiot? Move, Luffy." Luffy had a confident grin on his face. "Do you think that because of a cannonball I'll move a single inch?" Luffy waited the cannonball out before inhaling a ton of air sharply. "Gomu gomu no fusen, gum gum balloon." Luffy's body swelled up to a massive size as the ball bounced against his stomach. Much to the shock and horror of Buggy's crew, he fired it back off of the rebound and annihilated the building they had set the cannon on. Naruto grinned widely as Zoro complained that Luffy should have just said he was going to do that. "I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of seeing him do stuff like that. Seriously, this stuff is classic." Nami yelled in disbelief, "What the hell are you?" She marched up to Luffy, "Explain yourself, I don't understand this at all. From the moment you fought that lion and came back alive, this isn't humanly possible. How the hell did you just swell up like a balloon? You sure do like to say hell a lot, Nami-chan." Nami turned her glare on Naruto, who looked away innocently while Zoro chuckled. Luffy crossed his arms, "Gomu gomu dash dot." Nami cut him off, "I'm not asking for the name of the move, you monster." The smoke cleared to reveal Buggy standing with two of his crewmen as human shields to protect him from the blast. "You're chatting around making a lot of noise, like you're not scared. I'm so mad words fail me." A man that had hidden himself behind the lion of the lion tamer pirate dropped the giant cat and dusted his hands off. He was a skinny-looking man with a dark green hairstyle that covered half of his face. The lower half of his face was mostly covered by a white and blue checker pattern scarf. He had a purple sleeveless coat that went down to his knees and white pants held up by a light blue sash. Much to the lion tamer's panic, he tossed the still alive lion aside until he saw Luffy in front of him. "Captain Buggy. Be careful, he's the one I tried to tell you about. He's a rubberman." Nami looked at Luffy. "Rubberman?" Luffy stretched his own cheeks widely. "Yep, want to see?" Buggy looked at the man. "Moji. Why didn't you tell me that sooner?" He picked him up and threw him at Luffy, Naruto, Nami, and Zoro. Moji screamed as he flew through the air, "Get out of the way." Naruto scoffed and stepped directly in his path of flight. "You get out of the way." Naruto threw a roundhouse kick that caught him right in the face and tossed him aside. "Now can we please get on with the fight already? I haven't beat anybody up in a good long time. I call the entire crew." He looked at the men standing up from the wrecked building. "Well, whoever's left of the crew." Kabaji, the man identified earlier and Buggy's second mate, hopped on a unicycle and charged Luffy after drawing a sword. "I'll avenge the pain that you've caused my crew." However, Zoro stepped in the way and blocked with one of his own swords. "If it's swords, I'm all for it." Luffy looked at the bleeding bandages on Zoro's body. "Look Zoro, I think it's better if I take it. Or maybe we can use the new guy over there." He pointed over to where Naruto had gleefully taken to thrashing the remainder of Buggy's crew with his bare hands. Naruto ducked a slash of a man's sword before grabbing his throat and slamming him into the ground. He turned and gave a thumbs up to the others. "Nah," Zoro called him, "he's got this guy." Naruto then returned to his originally scheduled pummeling. He grabbed two men and smashed them together. "This is so easy. I don't even need to use any jutsu on these guys. This is the crew of a feared pirate? I hope Buggy fights a hell of a lot better than the rest of these clods, or this is going to be cake." Nami watched him take apart an entire group of grown men, smiling like it was his birthday with a sweat drop on her head. Kabeji took advantage of the disagreement and shot his flame breath at Zoro. Zoro dropped to his knees as his face was singed from the fire, and Kabeji took advantage of the situation once more in order to deliver a kick with the point of his shoe to Zoro's wound in his side. Zoro cursed and writhed on the ground in pain as Kabeji mocked him. "What's this? I didn't even kick you that hard. Did I?" Nami grit her teeth. "You dirty bastard." Aiming to the wounded area. "If you're not cheating, you're not trying." Naruto sounded off in the distance as he continued to crack skulls. Kabeji stabbed his sword into the ground and released a blast of smoke. Zoro held his swords up. "It's just a cloud of dust, a stupid trick." On cue, Kabeji emerged from the smoke and slashed at Zoro, who blocked with two of his swords. Kabeji smirked and drew his foot back for another kick at Zoro's wounded area before punting him in the side. Zoro rolled over and cried out in pain. "What's this?" A grown man rolling around and crying is absolutely pathetic to watch. You were a troublesome bunch at the start, but making an enemy of Buggy and his pirate fleet was a grave mistake. Dai Rora no Zoro. Nami looked at Luffy, who was simply watching the fight. Fighting with that injury was too much from the start. "Why are you watching all silent and stone-faced? That guy's going to die." Zoro simply swatted him away when he got too close. "What an annoying guy. Do you really find tearing at my wound that much fun?" Zoro then proceeded to cut himself along his wound, much to the horror of everyone around. He placed a sword in his mouth. "My goal is to become the world's greatest swordsman. Is my condition enough for you now? Let me show you the difference in skill between us." Now holding a sword in both hands and one in his mouth, he smirked as he explained himself. "To anyone that calls himself a swordsman, I won't allow myself to lose to them even once." Naruto dusted off his hands as he dispatched the last of Buggy's men to the land of unconsciousness. He turned and saw Zoro preparing to combat Kabeji, and saw Luffy and Nami just watching along with Buggy. Naruto sighed as he made his way over to them. "Zoro, hurry up and kick his ass so we can beat Buggy. I need to figure out how I'm getting off of this island if you've all forgotten." Karaji sneered. "You asshole. Do you really think it will be that easy?" Nami looked over to where Naruto had just walked away from and whispered to Luffy, "Hey. Behind the destroyed pub there's a warehouse. Their treasure is over there and the map is probably still with Buggy. Since Naruto knocked all of them out, I think I'll go over, and after I acquire the treasure I'll make my escape, since whether you win the fight or not it has nothing to do with me." She started walking away. "If you actually manage to get the map and fulfill your part, we can cooperate again." Naruto raised his hand and followed behind her as she walked over to the warehouse. "I'm going too." Nami turned as Naruto had followed her away from Luffy with a dull look on his face. Nami was somewhat surprised and suspicious of Naruto. "What? Why? Luffy and Zoro are still fighting. Don't pirates like you have some kind of code about running away or something?" "They seem to." Naruto palmed his face. Once more, for the benefit of those with no short-term memory, "I am not a pirate." "Say it with me now, Uzumaki Naruto." "Is not a pirate? I'm not a damn pirate. And anyway, if you don't like pirates, why the hell do you hang around with pirates?" Nami scoffed as they continued on, only turning back as they heard Buggy cry out in pain. Luffy must have finally started in on Buggy. "Oh well then." Nami continued on towards the treasure with Naruto in tow. Being bored enough to actually want to go back and see Luffy fight Buggy, Naruto decided to break the monotony. So after you get the treasure, how the hell do you plan on getting out of this place? The only boats I saw were mine, Buggy's, and the little piece of crap that Zoro came in on. Nami turned and winked at him. I have my ways. Why are you coming with me anyway? Naruto shrugged. Well, I need money actually. It's not like I'm really broke, but I truly doubt that my currency would fly around these parts. Naruto pulled out his frog wallet and pulled out a wad of bills to show Nami. Nami turned and looked at his currency. You're right, we don't use that. We use belly instead. What place are you from that doesn't use belly as its currency? Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. I come from a place called the Elemental Nations. He saw Nami looking at him blankly. I heard the guys on the ship that I took to get here call it the final continent or something like that, if that helps. Nami stared at him in shock. You're from the final continent? But that place was just discovered around 50 years ago. The world government doesn't even have any representatives there yet. Naruto's eye twitched. It's called the Elemental Nations. And it's not like the place was hard to find, it was just really, 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 really far out of the way. People have been there for at least hundreds of years. And I doubt your world government will find it that easy to get its hooks into that place. It's really militarized already, it's just now coming into a period of peace after 100 years of on-again off-again periodic warfare. Nami blinked in surprise. Really? How many countries are there in the Elemental Nations? Naruto thought for a moment. There are 5 that have the most significant power, and then there are countless little ones that have militaries of their own. I would say that there are about 20 countries in the Elemental Nations. Nami didn't know how to tell him, so she just came out with it. Naruto. The world government has 170 countries from all over the world in it. Your home is probably the only place in the entire world that is untouched by them. But if you were able to catch a ship from there to the East Blue, then it might not be that far off. Naruto paled at hearing that information. He believed that the 4 great shinobi nations were powerful, he even believed that the other countries had tremendous ninja of their own, but against an allied army of over 170 nations they would be crushed or assimilated. He could only hope that the world government kept their eyes away from the Elemental Nations, or that they would let them be, but with his knowledge of human nature he knew that was a pipe dream at best. Naruto? Naruto? He was brought back to the regular plane of existence when Nami called out his name. I said, what did you do there? You're a pretty tough guy. And on that thought, why did you leave? Naruto looked at Nami and smirked. If I told you what I did for a living, you either wouldn't believe me or I would have to explain it. And you tell me why you left your home to come out on the big blue ocean all on your own. It seems pretty dangerous for a girl like you. Nami frowned but quickly covered it up with fake laughter. I'm not nearly as helpless as you think I am, Naruto. Naruto chuckled. I'm sure you're not, Nami-chan. I think we're here. Suddenly an explosion rang out behind them, signifying a house coming down. Luffy soon burst out of the debris. Wow. Luffy and Buggy are really duking it out, huh? Nami simply stared at them. How is it possible for such a fight to be taking place? I feel like I'm dreaming. She looked at Naruto, who, other than being mildly interested in the fight, didn't show much surprise, if any at all. Why don't you look surprised by any of this? Naruto acknowledged her with a grunt. Well, I've been seeing stuff like this go on around me since I was a little kid. The Elemental Nations are full of people that can do remarkable things. I have to say that they're a few decades too late for me to be shocked by what they can do. There's no such thing as impossible in this world, that's what I've learned. Nami raised a delicate eyebrow at his choice of words. A few decades too late. Naruto frowned. Bite my tongue. He pointed out at Luffy and Buggy's fight. Oh look, Luffy's pissed. That got Nami's attention. She had never seen the boy really angry about anything the entire time since they had met. She saw that he was upset about Buggy nicking his hat with his strange powers to separate his body into segments. I thought he was the kind of guy that never got upset about anything. Naruto nodded. Everyone has their triggers, Nami-chan, no matter how minuscule, everyone has a breaking point. They saw Buggy begin to target Luffy's hat in order to rile him up further, just out of cruelty. He eventually impaled the hat on his blades. Naruto cringed and subconsciously clutched at something under his shirt. He could only imagine how angry Luffy was at losing his hat. It must have been truly precious to him. Buggy laughed as his hand flew back onto his wrist with Luffy's impaled hat on it. Kahahahaha. What kind of treasure is this ragtag hat? Luffy outright sprinted at Buggy. That's the hat I swore myself to with Shanks. Buggy cast the hat off of his knives onto the ground, so that's why it looks so familiar. Me and that guy used to be on the same boat. We were comrades back when we were just trainees. Luffy lunged at Shanks with a punch. You say he was your comrade? Shanks was a great man. He nailed Buggy right in his body as his head separated from his body and reattached, forcing the clown pirate to the ground. Luffy pulled on Buggy's cheeks and angrily spoke to Buggy about Shanks. Naruto sighed. Well, it looks like Luffy's little temper tick is anything derogatory to do with either that hat or this Shanks person. Nami re-entered reality. I was so fascinated I kept on watching. I've got to get that treasure and get away. Naruto motioned towards the warehouse. I'm right behind you. When Nami turned to look at him, he shrugged again. What? I'm bored and Luffy is fighting the only entertainment in town. Following you while you hoard all of this clown's loot could be entertaining, therefore I'm going with you. Naruto followed the girl and kicked open the door of the warehouse, gesturing inside for her to enter, mostly so he could adequately see what she was working with from behind. Not bad at all, he had to admit. Nami squealed loudly as she began hoarding everything she could into a sack. Naruto saw some bills sitting off to the side and decided to line his own pockets. Hey, everybody was doing it. Soon enough Nami filled her sack with as much as she could and strolled outside with a content look on her face that Naruto just had to chuckle at. Because of that, whoever touches my treasure, I never leave them alive. Naruto exited the warehouse to find Buggy lunging his entire torso at Nami with his blades pointed at her. Did you think you could fool me, Nami? Put my treasure down so I can send you painfully to hell. I'm not giving you a single thing. Nami yelled at him as she cradled her sack of monetary gain. In the middle of his death lunge at Nami, Buggy stopped with a pained look on his face. Naruto looked to see Luffy had planted a foot painfully right between Buggy's legs as he had left the lower half of his body back when he attacked Nami. Naruto pointed at Luffy and laughed. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. As Buggy's top half fell to the ground, Naruto cocked his fist back and plowed into Buggy's face, sending him flying back at Luffy. Don't try to kill girls that aren't hurting you, Buggy, that's not very honorable. Buggy mumbled to himself in pain. Some kid dared to kick my bottom half, and then some other punk got a sucker punch right in my face. Naruto looked at Luffy as the two nodded to each other. He then turned to Nami and tried to escort her away. Nami, let's get you out of here. As long as you have that treasure around here, you're going to get chased by that lunatic. Let's drop it and get you out of here. Nami clutched the bag tightly. Why should I put my treasure down and run? I don't want to. Buggy growled from the ground. Your treasure. Nami nodded. Of course. Since I'm a pirate treasure thief and I just stole from a pirate, I'm telling you this treasure is mine. Naruto's sweat dropped. You know, pirates are known to steal from other pirates too when the opportunity arises. How are you yourself not a pirate again? Buggy flipped out from the ground where he lay. What kind of dumb shit is that? Do you think that if you steal it, it's yours? How the hell were you brought up? Naruto grinned at him, apparently remarkably close to the way that I was. I'm still not a damn pirate though. Nami laughed. A lecture from a bad guy. Enough of that nonsense. She stuck her tongue out in a pouty manner. I don't think I've done anything bad enough to be lectured by a pirate. Naruto laughed out loud at that. Who are you people? You guys are awesome. Where did you all come from? Buggy growled and split his body into multiple pieces, sending them at Nami. Bara Bara Festival, Chop Chop Festival. He surrounded Nami with his body parts and laughed. See if you can protect her now. Luffy grabbed a foot that Buggy left behind and started tickling it, forcing him to stop his movements in order to laugh. Luffy did all kinds of things to his foot, smashing the toes into the ground, pinching the skin, all kind of things until Buggy yelled at him. Nami saw an opening and swung her bag at him, but it was caught by his disembodied hands. The two started a tug of war over the bag while Buggy tried to sneak some blades on her from behind. Naruto narrowed his eyes at this and rushed in with a swirling ball of blue energy in his hand. All right Buggy, I thought I told you. He jumped into the air and drove the ball into Buggy's torso. Leave women alone. Raise Nan, spiraling sphere. Naruto's attack drove deep into Buggy before it sent him flying off into the side of a building. Naruto sighed and looked back at Nami. Are you okay Nami-chan? Nami blinked blankly and nodded. Yeah. Thank you Naruto. Luffy ran up to Naruto with shining eyes that scared the blonde slightly. That was so cool. How did you do that? Can you teach me how to do that? What was that? Naruto was feeling uncomfortable but answered all of his questions. Thanks, I channeled my body's energy called chakra to use it. It's kind of something personal, so sorry I can't, and I call it Raise Nan. He then reached into his own coat pockets. Oh, you wanted this, right? Naruto said, handing off a map. I took it from him when I hit him with that last attack. Luffy grabbed the map and celebrated. All right. I've finally got the Grand Line map. Wait you brats. They all turned to see Buggy with blood coming from his mouth, a mark carved into his torso in the shape of a spiral, and his limbs off of his body. I'll kill you all once and for all. He called for his body parts to return but only ended up getting his hands and feet. Nami stood on a pile of body parts, looking for these. Buggy's eyes bulged out of his head. AHH. My body parts. Luffy gleefully shot both of his hands backwards. A thief can do some cool things sometimes. Let me handle the rest. Get lost Buggy. Luffy shot both arms forward and punched Buggy with both hands. Gomu Gomu no Bazooka, Gum Gum Bazooka. The attack sent the clown-themed pirate flying into the distance. Naruto whistled as he saw Buggy disappear into a dot. Damn Luffy. How hard did you hit him? Luffy looked at Nami. You're going to join my crew now, right? Nami smiled as she tried to heft her large bag of treasure. I'm just working with you while it serves my purpose, remember that? I'll do it for now because it seems like I'll make quite a bit of cash with you guys. She rubbed the bag to her cheek affectionately. This much treasure should be worth at least 10 million belly. Buggy said that all of his stuff was high quality. Naruto walked around and observed the damage to the village as Nami and Luffy spoke about the treasure. Naruto smirked at all of the wrecked buildings. It looks like I'm going to be doing a lot of collateral damage again. Oh well, 100 years was far too long to go without causing catastrophic property damage. Naruto walked over to Zoro and sweat dropped as he heard the man snoring. Naruto kicked Zoro to awaken him. Oi, wake up. The fights are over, you and Luffy won. Zoro stirred and looked up at the blonde. Did he get the map? Naruto nodded. Yeah, Nami also stole a ludicrous amount of treasure from Buggy and Luffy sent him flying. You should have seen it, it was hilarious. Zoro grunted. Ugh, I don't think I can stand yet. Naruto rolled his eyes and heft the man up on his back. Don't bleed all over my coat. Let's go. Luffy was over by the still fallen chief of the village. Naruto turned and saw a mass of villagers coming, his danger senses tingling. Oh crap. I don't like this at all. What happened here? It's definitely the work of those pirates. Luffy raised his hand. Hey, I did that to the chief. Naruto palmed his face. Why would you tell them that, Luffy? There was no need whatsoever for them to know that. Nami glared at him. Why did you tell them that kind of thing on purpose? Luffy was confused. You guys saw me do it, right? Naruto walked over to them with Zoro on his back. Luffy means well, but he just does not have the brain capacity for more complex thoughts other than Luffy smash. How dare you do this to our chief? Who the hell are you? The pirates. Luffy grinned and shouted, we are pirates. So you are. The villagers all brandished weapons at the group. Naruto waved his hands out in front of him while Nami yelled at Luffy, whoa. Wait. Hold on for just one freaking minute here. He pointed at himself, this guy, not a pirate. Take note for posterity. Not a pirate. Damn it. He pointed at Zoro, who was laughing his ass off on Naruto's back. This gimp here, well, he did say he was Luffy's friend, so I guess he's technically a pirate. But dash. He pointed at Nami before he dropped his finger lamely. Alright, she says she's not a pirate, but she apparently travels the seas and steals stuff. That's like a qualification for a pirate, even if she says she isn't, so again, technically, she's a pirate too. Ignoring Nami's squawk of indignation, he then pointed to a grinning Luffy and paused before waving it off as a lost cause. Oh, never mind, this idiot just told you he was a damned pirate. But me, I'm not a pirate, so don't kill me, I'm just passing through. Get them. Luffy took off running. Let's run away. Naruto rolled his eyes as he and Nami followed. No shit, Luffy. No, we should stay back there with the rabid people with sharp pointy weapons and lack of reasonable deductive skills. He finished sarcastically. Luffy grinned, this is a good village. No matter what excuse we give them, they'll still be mad at us. All for their chief. Naruto grunted, yeah, but they really would have come in handy a half an hour ago instead of now when the fight is over and Zoro is dead weight on my back. They cut through an alley where Xiao Xiao stood to block the villagers from continuing to pursue. Despite the villagers trying to reason with the dog to move, he blocked the pirate group's retreat. Eventually they came to the docks where next to Luffy and Zoro's piece of crap tub in the water stood a boat that was actually respectable. Luffy looked at Nami, wow, is this your ship? She shook her head, no, I stole it from some stupid pirates. 3 of the pirates Nami tricked for the boat rose up into view. We knew you'd come back, boat thief. If we just waited here long enough dash. He was cut off by Naruto jumping on board and pummeling all 3 after unceremoniously dumping Zoro on the deck. Whatever, you wimps. Blah, blah, blah. Wasting my time. He turned to Luffy and Nami, get your asses on board now unless you want the killer lynch mob of unreasonable people to catch up and violate us horribly. The 3 beaten up pirates stood up with bruises and swelled lips. Who do you think you are, kid? Why the hell did you drop me, Naruto? The pirates turned to face the displeased face of Roronoa Zoro. Upon seeing his face, they jumped into the water and swam away frantically. Naruto shrugged and unhooked the boat from the dock as Nami and Luffy jumped on board. Luffy unfurled the sail. Alright, let's go. Naruto made a few hand seals as the wind picked up and allowed the ship to move faster with the boost. As they pulled off, he looked up. Hey, that looks like Buggy's emblem on the flag. Nami shrugged. I stole it from his pirates. I'll change it later. Stop right there. They turned towards the dock to see the chief standing there. I still have something to say to all of you. They all listened intently for his words. I'm sorry. I owe you all. The kids all grinned at him as Luffy yelled back, don't worry about it. Just live happy lives. Nami looked around the ship. Luffy, where's the other bag? I gave you half of it. Luffy didn't bat an eye. I left it in the village. Nami snapped, you left it? I gave you half of it. That's 5 million belly, that was my treasure. Luffy shrugged, well yeah, but since the village was half destroyed, I thought it would take some money to repair it. Naruto nodded sagely, yeah, besides. Luffy did do a lot of the damage either directly or indirectly himself. He then got a tick mark on his head. Oh man. I had a kick-ass ship and now I'm in this. I fought for and stole that first one fair and square and now I'm in this heap. Naruto looked up with anime tears. Nami was choking Luffy and trying to push him into the water. If you ever do that again you're dead, do you hear me? Zoro was still laughing like it was the funniest thing in the world. Naruto stopped crying and looked at Nami and Luffy in amusement. Well, at least this is looking to be something interesting. I think I'll stick with these guys for a while. Luffy yelled out, "All right crew. To the next island and adventure." Naruto's annoyed voice rang out across the ocean, "I'm not a damn pirate.